I'd like to call the meeting to order. Mrs. Burns, roll call, please.
Mrs. Hallenbeck?
Present.
Mr. Cirillo?
Present.
Mr. Allen?
Present.
Mrs. Bowman?
Here.
Mr. Kovitz?
Here.
Mrs. Lafferty?
Here.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Here.
Mr. Sporny?
Here.
And Mr. Sullivan?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. If everybody could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. The board met in executive session this evening prior to this meeting to discuss matters of employment, issues related to labor relations, the purchase or lease of real property, matters related to litigation, and matters related to school safety and security. Any announcement, Mrs. Burns?
No announcements.
Mr. Bowman, Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Ms. Hallenbach. First, on behalf of the Neshaminy School District, our thoughts and prayers are with the Covenant School in Nashville and the entire community as they deal with the unimaginable tragic events that took place yesterday. I would ask that everybody please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. Tomorrow night's a big night at Neshaminy High School. Our annual STEAM Expo takes place from 6:30 to 8:30. Admission is always free, and this is a tremendous time for our K-6 students to come out and experience a lot of different hands-on activities that are offered that evening. The third annual Sunset Challenge 5K race and 2K walk for Neshaminy students and families will be on May 12th at Maple Point. The run and walk benefits Stand Up Neshaminy, which provides information, education, resources, and help for those dealing with substance abuse issues. Pearl Buck recently held their annual science fair. They had over 90 participants in 3rd and 4th grade, and they presented 38 projects. And many of these projects you will see tomorrow night on display at our STEAM Expo at the high school. Our middle level volleyball tournament was held on March 1st with our 3 schools competing against one another. Congratulations, Pequessing. They came out on top for the 2nd year in a row. A group of our academic enrichment students from Maple Point recently attended the Young Women's Conference in STEM at the Princeton Plasma Physics Lab. The program introduces students to women scientists and engineers and the careers available to them in these fields, and we hope to be able to send more students next year. Our junior prom will again be held at the Fuge on Friday, April 14th. The high school spring vocal music concert will take place this Thursday, March 30th at 7 p.m. in the high school auditorium. For our secondary students, the 3rd marking period ends this Friday, March 31st. So parents, please take note. Spring sports are in full swing all over the district. Good luck to all of our participating athletes. And Ms. Hallenbach, these are just some of the great things happening around our district, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Bowman. Is there anybody signed up for public comment?
There were no signups.
Thank you. Moving right along, routine matters. Mr. Cirillo?
I would like to make a master motion to approve 2.01 minutes, 2.02 treasurer's report, 2.03 check register and procurement card purchases, 2.04 budget transfers, 2.05 investments, and 2.06 exonerations.
There's been a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Bowman. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 9-0. Personnel, 3.01, retirements, resignations, end of assignments. Resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the following retirements, resignations of administrative staff. There are 2 names on the list. May I have a second, please? Second by Mr. Sullivan. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 9-0. 3.02, appointments. Resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the following appointments of administrative staff. There is 1 name on the list. May I have a second, please? Second by Mr. Rodriguez. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 9-0. Ms. Doherty is in the audience if she would like to come up and say a quick word.
I'd just like to thank you for the opportunity. I'm really looking forward to working hard for the students and families in the Furter Bar community and across the district. So thank you very much for bringing me on the team.
Thank you. Mr. Sullivan, please.
Personnel certificated. I'm going to read 4.01 first. Retirements, resignations, end of assignments. Resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the following retirements, resignations of certified staff. And there's 3 names on the list, one with 29.8 years, one with 34.8 years, and 33.8 years.
There's been a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please? Second by Mr. Kovitz. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 9-0. Mr. Sullivan, you can master motion the rest.
I'd like to make a master motion for item 4.02 appointments, 4.03 leaves of absence, 4.04 revised leaves of absence, 4.05 co-curricular resignations, 4.06 co-curricular appointments, and that's it.
There's been a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Ms. Lafferty. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 9-0. Personnel support. I'd like to make a master motion for 5.01, retirements, resignations, end of assignments. 5.02, appointments. 5.03, leaves of absence. 5.04, revised returns from leave. 5.05, ancillary appointments. I would also like to point out under the retirements, there is 1 person, Patricia Gilbert, who has 33.9 years with us. Congratulations and enjoy your retirement. There's been a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sullivan. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 9-0. Mr. Sporny, can you read 6.01, please?
Sure, I'd like to make a motion, 6.01 Gilmore and Associates, Pequesing Middle School Addition, change order number 1. Whereas the Neshaminy Board of School Directors approved and hired an architect and construction management company for the addition of Pequesing Middle School, and whereas in any construction project, there may be change orders which need to be approved, now therefore be resolved that the Neshaminy School District authorizes the District Business Administrator to authorize the attached change order with Gilmer and Associates, Inc., subject to review, revisions if necessary, and approved by the district solicitor in an amount not to exceed $3,000 with 2 attachments.
There's been a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please? second by Mr. Rodriguez. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 9-0. I am going to make a master motion for 6.02 Sunday facility usage, 6.04 Settlement Agreement X, 6.05 Settlement Agreement Y, and 6.06 Revised Settlement Agreement Z. There's been a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please? Second by Mr. Kovitz. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Mr. Allen, will you read 6.03, please? There's been a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cirillo. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Is there anything you can share about it? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 9-0. 7.01, Mrs. Bowman, please.
I'd like to make a motion, 7.01, out-of-district placements, whereas in order to meet the educational programming needs of specific students, it may be advantageous to utilize the services of out-of-district providers. Now therefore be it resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the out-of-district placements identified below, and there are 3 students listed.
There's been a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Allen. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 9-0. Mr. Kovitz, if you could read 7.02, please.
You got it. Homebound instruction, whereas, I'll put forward the motion for homebound instruction, whereas the Neshaminy School District desires to provide education services to meet the needs of students requiring homebound instruction. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the homebound instruction below. There are 2 students listed.
Thank you, Mr. Kovitz. There's been a motion on the floor. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cirillo. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 9-0. Ms. Lafferty, 7.03, please.
There's a motion on the floor, 7.03, overnight trips, whereas according to Board Policy Number 618, trips extending overnight are permitted by authorization of the Board of School Directors only. Now therefore be it resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the following overnight trips. And there's one on the list, track and field outdoor state champs to Shippensburg.
There's been a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Allen. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Other than wishing them good luck.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Other than wishing them good luck, hopefully they come back and we can have them in here to celebrate them as we have in previous years. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 9-0. Mr. Rodriguez, 7.04, please.
I'd like to make a motion for 7.04 federal grant authorization resolved in the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby authorizes and directs Jason Bowman, substitute superintendent of the Neshaminy School District, to sign any and all contracts, agreements, grants, and/or licenses with the Pennsylvania Department of Education and all other listed in the attached resolution.
There's been a motion on the floor. May I have a second? Second by Mr. Sullivan. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 9-0. Ms. Bowman, 7.05, please.
Like to make a motion, 7.05 revised 2022-23 school calendar noting graduation date. Whereas there was no inclement weather forcing the closing of schools during the 2022-23 school year, and now therefore be it resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approve the attached school calendar, which maintains the scheduled last day for students and teachers to be June 16th, 2023. Be it further resolved that Wednesday, June 14th, 2023 is designated as the date for the Neshaminy High School graduation.
Thank you, Ms. Bowman. There's been a motion on the floor. May I have a second? Second by Mr. Rodriguez. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 9-0. And Mr. Cirillo, if you could finish us out, please.
I'd like to make a motion to approve 8.01 first reading of policy. Whereas the Board Policy Committee reviewed Policy 114 and Policy 827 at the March 23rd, 2023 committee meeting, and whereas the following board policies are being recommended for a policy first reading. Now therefore be it resolved that the Neshaminy School Board of Directors review Policy 114 and Policy 827 and recommend a second reading and final adoption of the policies noted below at the April 11th, 2023 public meeting. It is Section 114, Gifted Education, and Section 827, Conflict of Interest.
Thank you, Mr. Cirillo. There's been a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please? Second by Mr. Kovitz. Is there any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 9-0. That brings us to the closing of the meeting. Is there any other board business that anybody would like to have discussed? Brings us to our second public comment. Does anybody have any public comment? Come up to the podium. 9.03, board comment. Mr. Bowman, is there anything you needed to add?
No, there's not.
Anybody else have board comment? Mr. Kovic?
Each year that the district and the high school put on the STEAM Expo, it's a wonderful time. I love that stuff. It's a great night for if you have any children at home that are asking you questions about math or science or any kind of technology and you just don't know how to give them a good answer, you should come out tomorrow night. It's again, they do such a great job, and it always makes me smile when I think about how many years they've been doing this now very effectively. And so you got nothing to lose and everything to gain, and the kids just have a great time. So that's all I got.
Excuse me, I just wanted to make note of, unfortunately, I neglected to mention it beforehand, but I did try to share it around. On March 18th, the PA Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund and the County of Bucks dedicated the Bucks County Bridge number 15, which is on Frosty Hollow Road, going over the Mill Creek. We all, anywhere near Miller Elementary School, we cross it constantly. It was dedicated to, It was dedicated to Corporal David J. Ortles, United States Marine Corps. David was killed in action, unfortunately, on May 22nd, 1970. David grew up in the Upper Orchard section of Levittown, and he graduated from the Neshaminy High School. And I just wanted to make note of that there are now signs proclaiming, where we dedicated it on March 18th. Just wanted to make the community aware of that. The goal is there's at least 15 bridges. There's plenty more. I forget, I did get a number. There's well over 200 throughout Bucks County. And our hope is to get them all named for veterans. So that's all I have. Thank you.
I just have a couple of quick comments. Everybody, please go to the website. Mr. Bowman, as well as Mr. Kovats, mentioned several opportunities and events that are happening in Neshaminy. They are a lot of fun, and participation is always wonderful. Tomorrow, there is a Business Operations Committee meeting at 6:30 in this room. That's where it's more open dialogue with community. It's a committee meeting back and forth. The budget will be discussed amongst other things. With that being said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Can I have a second, please? Second by Mr. Sullivan. Everybody have a great night.